Spoiler warning, this video will cover chapters 40 to 66 of the Oshi No Ko manga. That's the entirety of the Tokyo Blade, or 2.5D stage play arc in the manga. This is likely to be the first half of season 2 as well. It's one of the biggest arcs in the manga, and I'll be covering most of it in this video. So yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it. The arc begins when Sumiyaka Raida, the representative of Magic Floor, an event management company, obtained the publishing rights to Tokyo Blade. Now, he'll be able to run a stage play of the series. We also see it's actually Kaburagi who Raida was talking to, and they confirm that it is going to be a 2.5D stage play where they use projection mapping to recreate the atmosphere of the original work. On top of that, the production company Lalai will be helping out too, including Akane. As for the other cast members, since Lalai don't have a lot of younger cast members, they have to find others elsewhere. Fortunately, Kaburagi has some recommendations, and we know who they are very well. We then see Akane just uploading a photo of her having ice cream with Aqua to keep up appearances that they are a couple. She also asked Aqua if he was contacted about Tokyo Blade, and mentions that she is a part of it, along with Lalai. Aqua remembers that the theater company is the same one that I had been a part of when she supposedly met their father. Of course, they did offer Aqua the role of Toki, who is in a relationship with Saya, the character Akane will be playing. Considering their relationship status in real life, the casting is pretty much perfect. Although Toki himself is a secondary character, he's popular with the male fans, and is of course shipped with other characters, such as the heroine or his ally. His ally is named Tsurugi, who just so happens to look very similar to a certain redhead we know. That's right, the one playing this character is none other than Kana Arima, who literally shows up where Aqua and Akane were sitting. It turns out Akane and Kana are actually sort of rivals, and they throw subtle jabs at each other before Kana leaves. You see, Akane and Kana are the same age, and have been in the industry together since they were child actors. However, Kana was the one scooping up all the roles. It was tough for Akane to be born in the same year as that prodigy, as she puts it, but now, she won't lose this time. Kana also doesn't want to lose, which means now they'll be going head to head. The former genius child actor versus the genius actor of the present. Kana versus Akane. There can only be one winner, and we'll find out on the stage of Tokyo Blade. On the day of the staff meeting, Aqua arrives with Kana to meet the other cast members. The first one they bump into is none other than Melt Narushima, the male model they worked with on Sweet Today. Of course, Kana is still disgusted with this horrible performance, but Melt assures her he's been studying since then. 9 months have passed, and he's certain he's gotten better, but we'll see. Eventually, they make it to the studio where the other cast members are, and everyone introduces themselves. There's Raida, the producer, Toshiro Kindaichi, the director, Goa, who is a famous screenwriter. There's also another person who Kaburagi brought in, Sakuya Kamushita. Along with the other Lalai actors is also Akane. Then finally, among the lead actors is the box office star of Lalai, Taiki Himikawa. He's easily the most notable actor there, as a leading actor on primetime TV, and has an actor award in theater. And by the look of Aqua's starring gun, Taiki has caught his interest. We then learn a bit more about the Tokyo Blade manga. It's basically a battle manga with multiple factions fighting each other. Eventually, the characters deepen their bonds of friendship and loved ones along the way. Kana will be with the main characters in the Shinjuku faction, while Akane and Aqua are in the enemy Shibuya faction. This means Aqua will only get a few scenes with Kana, but he's okay with that since he won't have to hear her complaints due to her passion for acting. Akane loves talking about acting non-stop too, but it's different for Aqua. He's not as passionate for acting. After all, Aqua has been acting for the sole purpose of finding the truth about Ai, and this play will help him get closer to the representatives of Lalai. Speaking of Ai, Akane reactivates her Staringan before they begin the script reading. As everyone rehearses, it's clear that this time, all the actors there are pretty solid. In particular, Raida and Kindaichi are pretty interested in the rivalry between Kana and Akane. The way they act are polar opposites, with Akane being someone who gets into her own role, with Kana being more responsive to the performances around her. Raida thinks Akane might be one step ahead of Kana, but Kindaichi reminds him that Taiki is also there. As soon as Taiki starts acting, he completely owns his role, grabbing even Kana's attention. Taiki tells Kana to stop holding back, which delights her. Then everyone watches as the two completely pop off in their interactions. Even Aqua is stunned by how well the two play off each other. Once they're done, Kana, Taiki, and Melt all go out to lunch together, while Akane remains stunned by how Kana completely stole the spotlight. And we find out that Lalai has seemed stagnant recently, leading to the director accepting the offer of having other performers from outside. Performances like Kana's just now should motivate the others to get better if they're true actors. As rehearsals continue, cliques begin to form by the third day. There's the main cast clique with Kana, Taiki, and Melt. The Lalai clique with Akane and the other members of the group. Then there's Aqua. Nah, I'm not even joking. It's literally just Aqua all by himself. Of course, Akane, being the sweet girlfriend that she is, goes to talk with him. They talk about how well Kana is doing now that she is acting with the great actor in Taiki, and he even states Akane will lose at this rate. Aqua also states that he has no hope of keeping up with the other actors either. However, Akane comes to realize that she's at a bad start to the play due to the script. Princess Saya just doesn't appear much in the original manga. She started as Toki's original love interest, but unfortunately, people started to ship him with his enemy, Tsurugi, causing Saya to lose most of her screen time. Is that Akka telling us that Kana is going to lose Aqua to Akane? Just kidding, but you never know, right? Anyways, at this point in the manga, Akane realizes if she continues to remain docile, she won't be able to beat someone as expressive as Tsurugi. Akane would like to complete the missing parts of Saya's character with her imagination, but her interpretation clashed with the screenplay because of the writer completely changing her into a crazed battle maniac to match the play's runtime. The author approved of it too, so there's nothing she can really do. Or is there? Speaking of the author of Sweet Today Yoriko goes to meet with her former assistant and now the author of Tokyo Blade, Abiko. Specifically, Abiko has some concerns and wants Yoriko to go with her to watch the rehearsals for Tokyo Blade. Before they arrive, Akane talks to Aqua about the script, and he ends up going to Goa and Kindaichi to tell them she has a few questions. Akane tells them her concerns, but Goa essentially states that it's necessary to keep things as simple as possible when dealing with so many characters in a 2-hour stage play. Goa is a fan of the manga, so he is okay if she wants to change something, but Kindaichi states that it would be a distraction to put more focus on Saya's feelings. Before Akane can think too much about it, the authors arrive. Yoriko happily greets Kana and Aqua, and shades Melt. However, Abiko is too shy to even greet them all. After they watch the rehearsals, Abiko seems impressed by the actors at first, and Yoriko's happy she likes it. However, Abiko doesn't seem to like it enough, as she then asks to fix the entire script. They only have like 20 days until the first performance, but the author doesn't care. Goa tries to apologize to Abiko for the script, but she goes off on him for changing the characters' personalities. She goes as far as to say she seriously questioned his talent as a writer. Yoriko tries to calm Abiko down, as she even flips the table in rage. You see, creating a script is like a game of telephone, and the author's thoughts go through many people before even reaching the screenwriter. By the time Goa gets the edit request, it's extremely simplified. So, it's not completely his fault, but Abiko wants to write the entire script herself now, or else she won't allow the play to happen. They can keep Goa on the credits too, but she doesn't want him involved anymore. Unfortunately, even though Goa really did try his hardest he has no choice but to leave. Now that the entire script is being rewritten, rehearsals are cancelled for a while, giving Akane time to actually show Aqua what a stage around is. He even told Akane that he didn't like stage plays. Yet, after watching this one, Aqua is actually super impressed. The curtains themselves are actual screens, and the most impressive thing is that their audience seats rotate, allowing for the scene to change seamlessly since multiple stages can be prepared beforehand. Raida actually meets them there as well, since he is also in charge of that play and likes to see audience reactions. Raida tells them they're still having trouble with the script, and even Aqua says the author shouldn't write it after seeing the play. The script takes advantage of the stage around, while the author doesn't know anything about it. Goa was actually the one who wrote the play Aqua just enjoyed, and audience loved his plays as well. Raida really didn't want him to step down, but it's hard to change that. So, as Akane and Aqua are leaving, Aqua makes a call. Later on, Aqua, Kana, Melt, and Akane all end up going to the author of Sweet Today's place. There, they discuss Abiko's career before Akane asks if Yoriko can convince her not to get rid of their scriptwriter. Because Abiko sees Yoriko as a teacher, Yoriko feels she has to take sides with their student no matter what. However, being the genius he is, Aqua already had another option, and he gave Yoriko something to give to Abiko. When Yoriko goes to Abiko's place, she finds it a complete mess. Abiko has no assistance and is doing everything on her own. At this rate, Yoriko tells Abiko she's gonna die, before sitting down to help her with some backgrounds. As they work, Yoriko tries to give some advice about compromise, but it ends up setting Abiko off, and they have a back and forth about whose manga is better, how terrible the Sweet Today live action was, and their social skills. By morning, they were both completely exhausted, but managed to finish. Yoriko tells Abiko again that she should learn to compromise, and Abiko finally falls asleep after saying how sad she was that Sweet Today was ruined. Later, it's revealed that Aqua got Abiko a ticket to the same play he watched. When Raida learns she's watching it, he's shocked and brings her over to his office once it's done. And Raida takes the opportunity to warn her that there's a possibility her script will be used without any editing. Even Abiko seems to agree that it would be tough for a novelist to make a perfect manga on their first attempt, which is essentially the same as her writing a script for the first time. With countless people dependent on him, Raida will do anything to make the play successful, and I do mean anything. After hearing that, and remembering what Yoriko said about compromise, Abiko agrees on the condition that she works with Goa on the script. They'll be making corrections on the spot on a call, and by sharing text data and edits in real time. By the end, the intense script has Raida shook, and is changed to the point where everything will fall on the skills of the actors. Akane is pleased to see the new side of Saya she'll be able to explore, while Kana finds the focus on acting to be a bit more tough. Overall, most of the actors seem to be excited by the script, besides Aqua and Melt. Specifically, the director wants to see more out of Aqua during his highlight scene. It's the climax where Saya is gravely injured before miraculously opening her eyes. Aqua needs to convincingly act out the relief Toki must have felt. Being able to convince the audience with his emotions will require emotional acting. Aqua knows that he can't bring out emotions during acting, and asks Kana how she cries on demand. So she gives him an example, and asks Aqua what he would do if his mother died. Now, to be fair to Kana, she doesn't know. Basically, Aqua should think of something like that before acting, while remembering what made him happy. So Aqua begins to think of memories of what made him happy, which includes Akane, Kana, and Ruby. He even manages to smile before the shadow of death appears behind him. It's Dark Goro, and he reminds Aqua why he has no right to enjoy himself. The memory of Ai's dead body causes Aqua to collapse. Everyone is shocked, and Aqua has to leave the room to calm down. Akane ends up going to check on him, and she guesses it might have been a panic attack. Aqua stops her from calling his family since he doesn't want Ruby to know about this. Instead, they end up going to director Gotanda's place. There, Gotanda tells Akane that this type of thing has happened before. He tells her vaguely that Aqua was a part of a terrible incident a long time ago, and when he remembers his past times, this happens. PTSD basically. Aqua did attend therapy, but pretended he recovered, not to worry his family. As Aqua is resting, he remembers the death of Ai, and says her name a few times. However, Akane hears that, and quickly deduces that Aqua is likely Ai's secret child. When Aqua wakes up, Akane is crying. She just says that she thought of something really tragic if it were true before hugging him. No matter what happens, Akane will be his ally, and they'll embrace those things together. However, Akane also tells them that it's just a story that she came up with. Akane actually asks why Aqua does theater work a bit later, and he asks her, what if his goal was to kill someone? And you know what? Akane said she'd help Aqua kill them too. She's dead serious and believes Aqua would have a good reason for it. Akane will carry Aqua's sins with him. However, she also wants to win against Kana, but facing Taiki and Kana on her own is too much. And so, Aqua decides to get Gotanda's assistance to help him train, so he could help Akane. This means Aqua has no choice but to learn emotional acting. In the end, neither Kana and Akane want to lose, and soon enough, the day of the first performance arrives. Abiko is a bit nervous heading to the play, worried she might be the only one who likes this new version. However, Goa arrives and says he liked it too, making two people in the world who think it's fascinating. Meanwhile, all the old Love Now crew, including Yuki, show up, as well as Ruby and Miyako. They notice director Gotanda is also there. Gotanda taught Aqua and Akane everything he could, but the more emotions Aqua uses, the more risky it will be since he hasn't recovered from his trauma yet. Kana also warns Akane one last time that she'll defeat her and not let anyone call her a former child actor anymore. Of course, Akane has been waiting for this moment too. And lastly, Aqua is getting ready alone by forcing himself to see Ai. He always winds up having a panic attack, but snaps back to reality right after. Aqua is fine with that though. This is his way of making up for his lack of talent. And now that he's ready, the play can finally begin. Tokyo Blade starts with the main character obtaining a sword after defeating Tsurugi. The 21 Alliance swords give various powers to their owners. Tsurugi joins the main characters, followed by Melt's character soon after. However, in the second act, the Shinjuku group will fight against the Shibuya group. The first match will be between Melt and Sakuya's characters. Raida talks with Kaburagi about how useful a skilled 2.5D actor like Sakuya was to the group by giving Lalai someone to learn off of. On the other hand, Raida doesn't know what to think of Melt and wonders why Kaburagi cast him. You see, Kaburagi thought Raida would like Melt too, because he knows how much Raida appreciates hard workers. However, Yoriko will be the judge of whether his casting was a mistake. Melt remembers the work he put in to raise his stamina, and Sakuya notices that he's keeping up. However, even the audience seems to think he's doing bad. But Melt doesn't let that stop him. Aqua had told him to focus on one specific thing. Even if the audience is clowning him, they'd be caught off guard once Melt did something amazing, which he does by spinning the sword perfectly in the air and in his hand, causing the crowd to get excited. Even Abiko thought it was amazing. After Melt looked more into his character, he realized both of them were frustrated, and it was something he could relate to. By pouring those same frustrations into his acting, Melt was able to reach the audience, and even Yoriko with his last attack. She couldn't help but tear up. In the end, his character still lost, but Sakuya was impressed by his acting. Melt also finally understood Aqua's words from back then, and can truly say now that acting is fun. When we get back to the play, we get to see how good Kana's improv skills are, and even Sakuya finds her really easy to work with. Princess Saya finally makes a grand appearance as well, and Abiko is impressed by how convincing Akane's emotional acting is, after most of her dialogue in the scene had been cut. And now, finally, the climatic battle between Saya and Tsurugi begins. But first, we get a glimpse of Akane's past, when she first fell in love with Kana's acting. Akane was hesitant to act at first, but decided to do it, so she could become friends with Kana. However, things changed the day Akane first met her. Akane went to an audition wearing Kana's signature cap. She looked so similar to Kana that the guy doing the audition thought she was Kana and said they had already decided to choose her. However, the real Kana actually walks in right after, and Akane questions if what the man said was true, if they had already decided on Kana for the audition. Kana then tells her that this is a fixed game and that the auditions are just a formality. Akane is still confused, but Kana tells her that she's okay with this because she'll get a job this way. Kana even goes as far as to say, "Who cares about acting?" before ripping the hat off Akane's head and saying she hates people like Akane the most. As Akane grew up, she understood that Kana acted this way because she was scared to lose her work. Akane understands Kana wanted to keep peace with her surroundings, synchronizing with them through her acting. However, the Kana that Akane loved was more selfish and overwhelming. Her acting was something that shone brightly like the sun. Akane hates the present Kana and wants her acting to devour everything around them. And Akane shows her that she can do a bit of that too. She'll fight by making herself stand out more than Kana, and we witness an amazing performance as Akane completely takes over. Kana finds Akane's acting fun and wants to compete with her, but quickly she remembers that standing on her own could push the viewers away, so she stops. With Akane in the spotlight, Kana took a step back to not outshine her. Kana believes this is her acting, one that illuminates her fellow co-stars. However, Akane isn't too happy with this and wants to beat Kana when she's at her best. In order to do that, Aqua decides to help drag Kana out into the spotlight. Meanwhile, Taiki is planning to add some ad-libs in his scenes now that Akane has fired him up, and of course, Kana is ready to keep up with him. So now Taiki faces Aqua, but since he knows Taiki is better than him at acting, he kills his own emotions, in contrast to Taiki exposing his own emotions. Soon enough, Taiki forces Kana into doing an ad-lib by pushing her into Aqua. Aqua also does some ad-lib, which ends up forcing Kana into the spotlight. Now Kana has no choice but to act the way she always wanted to act. Kana accepts and completely takes over the performance. Everyone is stunned by seeing her like this, from Gotanda, Ruby, and Kaburagi, who remembers this type of dazzling performance is what made Kana into a household name. Even Akane is fangirling over her performance. Yet, while Akane and Kana are putting on this amazing performance, Aqua understands that he doesn't have the star power they have, and he can only watch as Akane is cut down right in front of him. With Saya down, it's now time for Aqua's big scene as he holds her defeated body. But here, we have a flashback of Aqua's training with Gotanda. You see, the more fun acting gets, the more painful the expression becomes. Akane also tells him that panic attacks has some sort of trigger. His trigger is guilt. Aqua feels guilty about having fun and about Ai. Gotanda knew all along and can even guess Aqua's in the entertainment world for a revenge. He's right as Aqua reaffirms that avenging Ai is his only reason for living. In that case, Aqua only has one option. He can't enjoy acting anymore. I actually made a video specifically on Aqua's feelings here, which you can check out, but to put it simply, he must act while suffering. He can't think of having fun again, and can only think of Ai. Aqua doesn't want anything else, as acting for him is nothing but a means of getting revenge. Even Kana can see how painful his emotional acting is. Then we get to see Dark Goro in his head again. He's happy to see Aqua suffering. He won't let Aqua enjoy life until he avenges Ai. However, Aqua realizes Dark Goro is just the him filled with regret. Just once, Aqua wants to hear Ai's voice again, so he'll use that emotion. At this point in the play, the characters realize Saya is so close to death. However, since she had essentially sacrificed herself to bear the wounds of her comrades, Tsurugi and the MC used the scabbard to save her. Aqua remembers how many times he's waited to see Ai wake up after she died. In that dream, little Aqua runs to Ai and she tells him that she wouldn't die from something like that. Aqua channels that emotion of seeing Ai wake up to seeing Princess Saya miraculously waking up in his arms and wonders, how many times has he wished for that dream anyways? Soon after, the play finally ends. Although the Love Now crew calls Akane a genius, she still believes that she has a long way to go to catch up to Taiki and even Kana. On the other hand, Ruby tells Kana how amazed she was at Kana's acting and that she too is a genius. However, Kana says that she's no genius and infers she's seen a real genius in Akane. Her acting seemed out of this world, almost like she was possessed by something, probably Ai's spirit. Akane's presence even allowed Aqua to fully step into his performance. We also see Raida watching the audience leaving the venue with big smiles on their faces, his favorite moment. It turns out that the play was a good one after all. As the curtain for this arc falls, we see one last thing. Aqua's in the bathroom alone, with his black Staringan glowing, as he has finally collected the DNA of a number of people, and one of them there is related to his father in some way. As for who that is, you'll have to find out in the next arc, Private. Let me know if y'all want to see me cover that arc too, but for now, this is the end of the Tokyo Blade arc. Thanks for watching, and if y'all enjoyed the video, it would be cool if you could leave a like and subscribe if you aren't already. Be sure to drop a comment down below too, and if you want to see some more Oshi No Ko content, then I got some right here. Peace.